Welcome to the Hot Girl School, the podcast where we redefine confidence and go way beyond the reflection you see in the mirror.
We're your hosts, Lauren and Danielle, here to empower you to embrace your inner radiance because confidence is so much more than looks.
Whether you're strutting into an event or conquering the boardroom, join us as we explore topics like self-love, inner strength, and owning your unique journey to confidence.
So grab your favorite drinkie and turn up that volume because you're about to unleash your true potential.
Hey hotties, on today's episode of the Hot Girl School, we are going to dive into a bunch of different variations of types of confidence. We're going to go on some tangents about dating and drinking, and we are so excited for you to be here today. Let's dive in. Here we are, another episode of the Hot Girl School.
We back.
Hey hotties.
Hey girls.
All right.
Guess what we have for you today?
Should we get into it?
Yeah, girl.
Let's do it.
You're the best explainer.
Today, we want to talk to you about the different types of confidence. We want to break them down and encourage you to start to think about what type of confidence do you bring, or maybe perhaps even like where are you lacking in confidence and what might that mean for you, and how can you expand and grow from it to feel more confident in those areas. So which one should we start with?
We went through and just labeled what is it, 4 or 5, maybe 6 different types of confidence that we have seen just from being out and through life. So we're going to give you a breakdown of the titles and kind of describe what we see them as. And then we want to hear from you if maybe we're missing some, because this is just our short list. So you want to start with, I don't want to say negative, but you want to start with like the fun?
Yeah, I mean, I think I would say like if we say that there's definitely like, I think everybody can relate or has had an experience with somebody who has false confidence and they're more so just cocky and they're the loudmouth and the interrupter and somebody that it just comes in kind of like a bull in a china shop, right? So, I mean, have you had any experiences with a bull in a china shop?
Of course. Of course. I have something that's probably inappropriate to say, so I'll hold it back.
Do it.
I had this client one time when I taught yoga, and we're sitting at his house, and I went to his house all the time for privates, and I would go, and somehow we started talking about confidence.
Mm-hmm.
And he said to me, the fattest girls are the loudest because they have no confidence. And that has just stuck with me so hard. And I laugh every time like I see a heavier set girl kind of being a loudmouth, because it just takes me right back to that.
Yeah, I don't know. See, I don't know if I agree with it, because I know plenty of like heavy set people that are truly confident. Because I think like we talk about, it comes from far more than looks. So like if you're confident and comfortable in your skin, like there'll be, girls, like I just went to Cabo recently and I'm like, damn, I'm not feeling so cute in my swimsuit today. And then I go out and there's girls that like are way, way heavier than me, right? And they are just rocking it and happy. And I'm like, man, what was I thinking earlier when I tried that swimsuit on? Like, get out there and own it. So I feel like, I think that I don't necessarily agree. Like, I think loudmouth, I agree with that, right? Like if somebody's trying to like dominate everything and it's just coming from a place of insecurity. And there are certainly some, like I'm a big personality, right? So there are some people who may feel that about me, and it's all like our perception and lens, right? But I think that if you feel comfortable, it doesn't matter what you look like. If you're confident, you're going to draw people in. People are going to be like, I want to be around you. They're not going to care what you look like. That's what I think.
There are definitely 2 different types of loud, because the loud confident to me is actually a very quiet confidence, because they're not actually speaking. It's literally just their energy. Like they show up, they walk into a room, and that's a very loud confidence. When somebody truly is confident, it's just like rippling out like waves.
Yeah.
But the people who are not so confident, those are the people who tend to speak loudly and draw attention to themselves whether it's good or bad attention, I don't know, but
Yeah.
that's kind of what I find as far as like,
Yeah,
okay,
like they're
so let's get
trying
into the different
to
kinds.
like take up space because they feel uncomfortable in that space. No, I totally think that too. And there's definitely
Which
like,
is kind of odd. Sorry to
yeah,
interrupt you, but like when somebody isn't confident, why would you draw attention to yourself? I've never really understood that.
hmm, maybe we should bring on a guest that like used to be falsely confident and more like cocky because they were trying to make up for the insecurities and be like, what were you thinking?
Yeah, that's going to take someone
Right?
who's super self-aware and have done a lot of
Yeah.
reflection.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, so like okay, so I guess for that one like you probably all are even thinking as we're talking like, "Oh yeah, I know the person that's cocky and like I there might even be somebody in your life." So for somebody or even if you're listening and you're like that's me, like I feel like that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to overcome an insecurity by taking up space or speaking louder or interrupting people. Maybe just ask yourself like why am I doing that? Where does it stem from? It could be a limiting belief, it could be a past trauma, and just bringing awareness to it is a way for you to start to show up more authentically confident and not just as the cocky confident person nobody likes,
Correct. I would say
right?
the one thing I've actually implemented is I think that there is like the air of mystery is super confident because you can't read anything about them. You don't know what they're saying. You don't know what they're thinking. You don't know about what they're about to say. You kind of feel like you're judged, and it makes the person who's speaking talk more, talk maybe louder, speak faster because you get nervous. So
Yeah,
in my line of work with real estate, when people just keep talking, I just get more quiet. And usually they reveal a little bit more, but I feel like they're trying to figure out what I'm thinking. And the reason they keep talking is because they want some sort of
like
nod,
feedback.
just literally like a head nod.
Yeah,
Like, you know, and so it's kind of funny because when you can get to the other side of like practicing quiet confidence, and
sure.
sometimes it is physical quietness, maybe that's, would you say those are kind of like the opposites of each other, but maybe both insecure? Maybe you don't know what to say, so
Yeah,
you're
I
giving
think
in
I think it
quiet.
could be a like a couple of things, right? So it could be that you may be more of an introspective person. You may be somebody who likes to really absorb information based on just how you're naturally designed. Like we talk about human design a lot. Like we should probably do an episode on that for fun note. But it could be that that's just how you operate. And so before you can kind of pour into somebody or give your 2 cents, you like to have more information. But it also can be just the fact that like you're so comfortable in who you are and in that setting and you know your stuff, especially in like a business related element, that you're like I don't need to be talking because my actions speak for themselves, my rap sheet speaks for itself, right? Like the things that you've accomplished, your accomplishments and whatnot. But I definitely think that sometimes people are really drawn to that quiet confidence also, not because they're like hey I like give me feedback, but because some people need to just like get it out, right? They like need to chat, or maybe that is their defense mechanism. And so your quiet confidence is actually helping them feel more comfortable because you're just listening, you're active listening.
That, yes, I think that's the key, is active listening. Yeah,
Yeah.
we did. I don't think quiet confidence was on the list, but we totally just like broke that in two, because it can be because you don't
Yeah.
know, or it could be because you're super comfortable, which I kind of
Yeah.
like that. That was a good
Yeah,
improv.
and I think like the overarching like element of confidence is like just truly being comfortable in your skin and how you show up. And confidence isn't something that you're going to feel 100% confident all the time, but starting to like take note and break down the different ones and notice where you might not feel so confident, what type of situations, what type of parties, what type of work events, where are you struggling and where do you have an opportunity to grow and increase your confidence, right?
Yeah, slow and steady wins the race. So whatever it is that, whatever situation that you're not the most proud of, to understand these different types of confidence and going from where you are and getting to where you want to be, it's going to take time. I'm like a huge preparation person. So like if
Yeah.
I know I'm going into a situation, I like to have a script ready, and that helps me with my confidence because I at least maybe don't know word for word, but I know the umbrella topic of what I'm trying to get across. And I have like the talking points in my head. I don't do well thinking on my feet. If I've had a couple drinks, that's different. But when I'm like in a business situation, or if a girlfriend takes like a low jab at me, I just get quiet. Like I had a girlfriend who just called me the clam because I would just clam up. I don't never want to say something that I am going to regret later because you can't take it back. So I've just learned to just stay quiet. And so sometimes I'm quiet because I'm comfortable, and sometimes I'm quiet because I'm uncomfortable.
Because you're
So these
uncomfortable. Yeah.
are such good examples of the different types of quiet confidence, I guess. I keep going
Yeah.
back to that because I freaking love it.
No, I love quiet confidence, and it's like learning what techniques work for you in the different scenarios. Like I I have the gift of the gab, I think. Like I am fine rolling in and just going, especially if I like understand the topic or if it's a fun event, easy peasy. But for me, like I need to feel comfortable in what I'm wearing. If I don't feel comfortable in my clothes, if my pants are too tight, if my shoes hurt my feet, if I'm just feeling blah, I tend to show up less confident in those scenarios. And so knowing that, I try and pre-plan like Lori and I just booked a Morgan Wallen concert and I'm stoked, but I'm like, shit, what am I going to wear? And it's like literally so far
That was the
away.
first thing
But
out of
I
your
need to
mouth.
feel comfortable in my clothes in order to like, show up confidently in that trip. So figuring out like what it is for you that's going to help you prepare so you can show up the most confident.
Ugh, you hit the nail on the head, girl. Clothes are such an important factor in your
Yeah.
confidence. Ugh,
So you
such a
said
good
something
one.
a moment ago. You're like, okay, if I had a few drinks, different story, right? So, like, let's talk about that because alcohol for a lot of people is like a false confidence. For some people who are already really confident, it may just enhance their level of confidence, right? Which I feel like that's what happens to you and I because I've had some drinks with you and it's really fun. So let's talk about that a little bit. Like, and even if you're in the stage of your life, which, oh, bless you, because it's so fun, where you're going out and you're drinking and you're in your early 20s, like take note of what happens to your friends when those drinks start hitting, right?
Oh, yeah, this is a good one. Okay. So, because you and I are so confident, I think you'll probably relate to most of the things I say.
Hmm.
Like, I don't have a problem hitting on a guy, like at
Yeah.
all. It's
Yeah.
so
It's how I
easy
met my
for a
husband.
girl.
I hit on him.
Yeah, totally. Like it's so easy because we don't need to be smart when we open our mouth. We just have to open the door. And sometimes that's walking by and giving a look. Maybe it
Hmm.
takes 25 trips to the bathroom with your girlfriend, but you're going to get there. And guess what? If they're not noticing you, you just walk up and literally, this is my line. Here's a tangible takeaway.
Here we go.
Hi, I'm Lauren, and I think you're cute. That is all they need. That is all
So
they need.
easy.
So easy. And I
So
will say,
easy.
I have done it sober and my heart races. Like I'm sweating and I'm nervous,
Yeah,
even though I know the outcome because I've done it a million times. But when I've had a drink, it just lets that initial guard down. But already have the confidence to do it because I know I can conquer it sober. And it
sure.
always leads to a date, always. So you've hit on guys, clearly your husband.
Yeah, I mean, it's
So
been a
how,
while. So I've been married for gosh, how many years now? Well, my husband and I have been together for 13 years. So I like just missed the dating apps, which I'm very happy about that. One thing I feel like I've noticed because of it is people are less inclined to talk in person. But a tip that I use that always worked before I met my husband was simply eye contact. Like making the eye contact, giving the little smirk, and that kind of like draws them in to come over. And then also like don't be the Debbie Downer, especially if you're out at a bar having fun. Play the games, dance with your girlfriends, put out the vibes. People are drawn to that type of energy where they're like, gosh, those girls are having a blast. I want to go meet them. And if you gave that little look see beforehand, then the guy's going to come talk to you.
yes, you can always also bring like a little peacock. If you haven't read The Game by Neil Strauss, you need to read it if you're single. A peacock is something that makes you stand out. So, like we'll use Neil Strauss. Like he
Sure.
went and learned magic tricks. So he brought magic tricks out. So when he was out, he didn't drink and he didn't have the confidence to talk to girls. Did you read this book, by the way?
I haven't. No.
Okay.
I
So
made a mental note. I'm like, need that book.
first of all, it's literally looks like a Bible. Okay.
Okay. Love
So,
that.
because it is. Yeah, it's black and gold. It has the same flaps as a Bible. It's actually kind of cool. I read
It's your
this a
dating
long time
Bible. You
ago.
hear that? So give our
What?
listeners that book again. What is it?
Neil Strauss, The
Okay.
Game. And it's written from a perspective of a man who had no confidence, had never had a girlfriend, zero success. And he found some man who like essentially taught confidence. And he
Yeah.
goes out and he starts implementing these things that he's learning. And I already had implemented peacocking far before I learned about what it was called. But I would usually wear like an outfit that maybe was a little out there,
Okay.
or like I'm a dancer, you're a dancer. That
Yeah.
always draws attention, right? So to be the first one on the dance floor, you're literally the liquid courage for everybody in the bar because they probably want to be out there, but they feel stupid.
100.
That's all it is. They feel stupid, right? And then you've got, like you said, the games and just playing and talking to new people. And I think that another key when you're out is when somebody talks to you, don't like shun them. Just open the door for conversation, because if there's someone else in the room who wants to talk to you, that's letting them know that you're safe to talk to and they're not going to get rejected.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, there's definitely I'm going back now to my fun days. And no, these days are fun too, but they were just a different kind of fun, right?
Different.
And literally when I met my husband, I always said I was like I'll never meet a guy in a bar. We could tell this whole story another day, but I literally walked up to him and pulled him on the dance floor and started dancing. I love to dance. And like just get it. Worst that's going to happen is they're going to say no. Okay, shrug it off, move on, try the next one. But
Yeah.
if you're ready and you're wanting to meet someone, don't be afraid to put yourself out there, and you don't always have to do it like behind the keyboard. Like go talk to the guy at the coffee shop. Go talk to the guy at the gym. Go talk to the guy at work. That can get a little iffy dating at work, but hell, if you think he's cute, go talk to him.
Totally. I will say you and I are very blessed to be in the era of knowing what it's like to meet someone in person. Like
Yeah.
and I do believe that it's a very different skill to speak to someone on a texting or an app versus meeting someone in person, because the chemistry you have when you meet someone in person is, if it's there for both of you, it's undeniable. And it is an
Mhm.
immediate magnet to each other. Whereas on a phone, you're like, okay, he's only 5'10" and he has blue eyes. I prefer green. He's kind of short. Oh God, I don't like what he said there. That was cheesy. It just takes too long. You have too little information and
And too
judging
many
far too
options.
harsh. When you're in a bar, you see someone and like maybe his socks are dorky, but we can fix that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that that's the other thing is like I think and maybe we're moving into dating now, but I have some single friends and certainly, can remember days when I was single, and I think that one of the challenges with online dating now is that there's so many options and so
Mhm.
much to pick through, and it creates this like longer expectation list that is really sabotaging you from being open, because you may not get to see immediately or on the first date that they check all of your boxes. Sometimes that takes time and cultivating some relationship and giving somebody a chance to see if all those things are there. And then to Lori's point, like you can also make adjustments. Like my husband, he was not the best dresser. We fixed
Mm,
that. It's all good
that's why
now.
he
He
got you,
like people
girl.
are always like, "Damn, Joey looks hot." I'm like, "I know. He learned how to
I
dress. It's
know.
perfect."
That's me. Stylish.
So yeah, I mean, I
Okay.
think it's just like
Should we?
being open, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, I like that one. So alcohol definitely we tangent a bit, but alcohol can pay attention to that because that can pull out some false confidence, and you want to see that they can be confident that they're not using that as a crutch to be social, which I think
And be
is
careful about beer goggles. No matter
yeah,
what kind
that's
of
also
alcohol you drink, beer goggles are going to make everybody cuter and everybody funnier. We ain't trying, we're not talking about when you're 12 drinks deep. I'm talking
yeah,
about when I'm like one or two, my head is still on, and I still see a cutie across the bar. Like, you don't want to be
yes.
sloppy.
Yeah, and maybe you're just, you follow up the first date, like maybe meet for coffee, maybe go to the gym, maybe go for a walk. Don't start drinking again. Get to know each other
Mm,
like
that's a
sober.
great, oh, we got to talk about dating at some point. I feel like I have
Yeah.
so many good things for that. So many things I've learned.
So I think let's do at least like one or two more. I think we can kind of combine these because we talked about doing like confident and friendly and then confident and gracious. And I think those are such beautiful types of confidence when you just like, the person you're probably already thinking of somebody that you're like, gosh, that they're just so nice. their energy is warm and welcoming, and they're just comfortable in their skin. Like, what is confident and friendly, or confident and or confident and what are the other one that I said? Friendly and
Gracious.
gracious. Yeah.
I think being gracious, again, I don't know if that's a skill that you learn and you really have to practice that, or if that's just how some people naturally come off. I really strive to be gracious in all situations, which I think is part of the reason why I don't fly off the handle. And the
Hmm.
people who make you fly off the handle, if you're not like that, that's a red flag. We're not
Yeah.
friends with them. We don't date them. We don't work with them. Like
Hmm.
they're like hitting something in you. But to be gracious when you have like a shitstorm around you or you want to blow up at someone is very, very hard to stop what you're doing and be self aware enough to say, this is what I want to do, but this is what I should do. I need to either
Yeah.
take a step back or take 3 breaths and then start down a new path. You can maybe say what you still want to say, but say it like in a nicer tone, if like sassy, if you can.
Sure.
But sassy and gracious, confident and gracious is a hard one. I feel like you would be confident and gracious in hard situations is
Yeah, I
maybe
mean,
what
I
I'm
think
talking about.
that I have had a lot of experience professionally that has forced me, and also been something I'm always trying to be learning. And I think developing emotional intelligence really helps with the confidence, friendly confidence, and gracious type of confidence. And nothing's ever going to get done by shouting and
Mhm.
screaming and flying off the handle. It's just going to make you look dumb and like you've lost it. And look, there's definitely I've had situations like I really struggle with my relationship with my sister, and I've had situations where I've blown up and it's pushed me to the brink. So like, I'm not sitting here saying I'm perfect by any stretch, and it happens, but like leaning into like why, and trying to really control the emotions. And I think just like being a kind person. Like, one of my pet peeves is when people are mean to like servers in the service industry.
Yes.
Like, what the fuck? Like, just be nice. Like, they messed up an order, maybe they're having a bad day. Like give people a pass. Be kind. And I think that that transitions into being confident and friendly, and confident and gracious.
Yeah, friendly is different. Like the first time that you and I went out solo and the
Mhm.
waitress was, or the hostess said, "Hi, how are you?" You're like, "Hi, how are you?" And I was like, "Get me to my fucking table. I don't want to talk to you." Like I am not
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
friendly and you are so friendly and it was like the most biggest, I know it doesn't make sense, but you was just like the biggest, grandest, like, "Hi, how are you?" And it was so genuine and it was so
Aw.
friendly, like kind. And I just immediately was like, wow, that is never going to be me. And I don't really know if I want to be that. I'm sure I could work on it. But
Yeah, I
that
mean,
was such a
be
good
authentic,
example of
right? Yeah.
what?
Be authentic, right? Like, not, and I think that that's kind of like what we want to convey in this one too, right? Is that you don't, everybody doesn't need to be the same type of confidence. It really like pull it back to feeling good about in your skin and who you are, and noticing like what types of confidence you're drawn to, or that feel like make your energy feel comfortable,
Mm-hmm.
right?
And yeah. And as you start moving into new situations and primarily new, start to take notice like, how do I feel? Why do I feel insecure? Why do I feel like I want to go into my shell? And what are the things you can do to help pull you out of your shell?
Yeah.
And working on that confidence, it takes time. It takes time and it takes a lot of self awareness and reflection to understand how to get there. And like you said, just keep asking why.
Yeah, I think like the first step is noticing anything, admitting anything to yourself, and maybe like you've been forcing it and you're like, okay, I'm gonna like be honest with myself and just say, you know what, I'm not confident there. Why? Why am I not confident there? What do I need to do? What would help me feel more confident? And getting to know yourself more is always going to build your confidence. And then figuring out like the preparation for different scenarios that's going to help you show up as your best self. So I think like for this episode to kind of wrap up, what we want your takeaway to be is just starting to take inventory, starting to notice and pay attention, and that's going to be your first step, and then taking action from there by asking yourself like how can I help you? Like truly help you feel better.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
Creating, just creating, I was thinking, just creating like a little plan of action And maybe it's trial and error. Try this for a
Yeah.
little while. And if you don't like it and it doesn't feel good when you're in the moment, be like, well, didn't work. I'll try something else. Or maybe have two or three when you go into a situation, whatever that may be, so that you have a backup plan and try that. And when you like it, it will become natural. It's really just creating a new habit.
Yeah. Yeah. And it takes 21 days to create a new habit. So do something for 21 days and it'll be like autopilot for you. Trust, trust. So,
Mic
if
drop
you're
on that.
comfortable, we would love to hear from you. It would be so fun to put together sort of like a downloadable PDF or something we can send out to our subscribers that is a bunch of different tangibles on how to feel more confident and hearing from a bunch of variety of people and the areas they're struggling and what they're doing. So, if you're open to it, send us how you're managing confidence, what you've taken notice of, and some of the action steps you've taken to help yourself feel more confident. And Lauren, do you want to tell them where they could send that stuff?
You can find us on Apple Podcast, Spotify, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I always mess
I
this
think
up.
that's it.
I think that's everybody. And everything is just at the Hot Girl School, all spelled out. So
Cool.
it's I'm excited. I want to hear some success stories
Yeah.
and on the contrary, where the struggles are so that maybe we can provide a little bit more value there. Between the two of us, we've probably been there and have something to give. So anything you want to share, we would love to hear what it is.
And thanks for coming to school today. We appreciate you. We appreciate you listening. We look forward to connecting next week. We hope you have the best day.